Every day we hear financial concepts on the street, in the news, newspapers, and conversations. But they are not always perfectly understood since financial education in almost all countries has been and continues to be very low. Therefore, we want to present to you in a very brief and simple way the meaning of some of the basic financial concepts so that you can speak, read and ultimately understand simple economic concepts. Interest. Simple versus compound. Interest is the cost of borrowing money or the reward for saving it. Simple interest. This is calculated only on the initial amount, known as the principal. For example, if you invest $100 at a simple interest rate of 5% per year, after 1 year, you will earn $5. Compound interest. This is calculated on the principal amount and also on the accumulated interest of previous periods. For example, if you invest $100 at a compound interest rate of 5% per year, compounded annually, after 1 year you will earn $5, but in the second year, you will earn interest on $105, and so on. Passive income. Passive income is money earned with little to no effort on the part of the recipient. It's often contrasted with active income, which is money earned from working. Common sources of passive income include 1. Rental income. Money earned from renting out property. 2. Dividends. Payments made by a corporation to its shareholders, usually as a distribution of profits. 3. Royalties. Earnings from intellectual property such as books, music, or patents. 4. Interest income. Earnings from investments like bonds or savings accounts. Passive income is crucial for achieving financial independence because it allows you to earn money without having to actively work for it, providing financial security and freedom. Loan amortization. Amortization refers to the process of paying off a loan over time through regular payments. These payments are typically made monthly and cover both the principal amount, the original loan, and the interest. Over the life of an amortized loan. 1. Early payments mostly go toward paying interest. 2. As the loan term progresses, more of each payment goes toward reducing the principal balance. Supply and demand. Supply and demand are fundamental economic concepts that describe the relationship between the availability of a product and the desire for that product. Supply. The amount of a product or service that is available to consumers. Higher supply typically lowers prices if demand remains constant. Demand. The amount of a product or service that consumers are willing and able to purchase at a given price. Higher demand typically increases prices if supply remains constant. The interaction between supply and demand determines the market price of a good or service. For instance, if there is a high demand for electric cars but a limited supply, the price of electric cars will likely increase. Inflation and deflation. Inflation. This is the rate at which the general level of prices for goods and services rises, leading to a decrease in purchasing power. For example, if the inflation rate is 3%, something that costs $100 today will cost $103 next year. Inflation can be caused by factors such as increased demand, higher production costs, and expansion of the money supply. Deflation occurs when the general level of prices for goods and services decreases, increasing the purchasing power of money. Gross domestic product, GDP. GDP measures the total economic output of a country. It is the sum of all goods and services produced over a specific time period, usually a year or a quarter. GDP is used to gauge the health of an economy. A rising GDP indicates economic growth, while a falling GDP may signal economic trouble. Credit versus debit cards. Credit cards allow you to borrow money up to a certain limit to make purchases or withdraw cash. You must repay the borrowed amount later, typically with interest if not paid in full by the due date. Debit cards withdraw money directly from your bank account to pay for purchases or withdraw cash. Since the money comes directly from your account, you can only spend what you have, which helps prevent debt but does not help build your credit score. Recession and economic depression. Recession is a significant decline in economic activity that lasts for more than a few months. Recessions are a normal part of the economic cycle and can be caused by various factors, including high interest rates, reduced consumer confidence, and decreased business investment. Depression, a more severe and prolonged downturn than a recession. Balance of payments, BOP, is a record of all financial transactions made between consumers, businesses, and the government in one country with others. The BOP helps understand a country's economic relationships with the rest of the world and is essential for economic planning and policy making. Fiscal deficit and surplus. Fiscal deficit occurs when a government's total expenditures exceed its total revenues, excluding money from borrowings. This gap is often covered by borrowing, leading to an increase in public debt. Fiscal surplus happens when a government's revenues exceed its expenditures. A surplus can be used to pay down existing debt or saved for future needs. Monetary and fiscal policy. Monetary policy. Managed by a country's central bank, it involves controlling the money supply and interest rates to influence economic activity. Tools include open market operations, discount rates, and reserve requirements. For example, lowering interest rates can stimulate borrowing and spending, boosting economic activity. Fiscal policy involves government spending and tax policies to influence the economy. Expansionary fiscal policy, like increasing government spending or cutting taxes, aims to boost economic activity. Contractionary fiscal policy, such as reducing spending or increasing taxes, aims to cool down an overheated economy. Stock market. The stock market is a marketplace where shares of publicly held companies are bought and sold. It provides companies with access to capital in exchange for giving investors a slice of ownership. Key components include 1. Stock exchanges. Platforms where stocks are traded, NYSE, NASDAQ. 2. Stock prices. Determined by supply and demand, reflecting the company's perceived value. The stock market is crucial for economic growth, as it allows companies to raise funds for expansion and innovation while offering investors the opportunity to earn returns. Exchange rates. Exchange rates determine how much one currency is worth in terms of another. Influenced by factors like interest rates, economic stability, and government debt, exchange rates affect international trade and investment. For example, if the exchange rate for USD to EUR is 1.2, it means one United States dollar can be exchanged for €1.20. Public debt. Public debt is the total amount of money that a government owes to creditors. This can include domestic and international borrowing. Public debt is used to finance government spending that exceeds revenue from taxes and other sources. 1. Advantages. Can stimulate economic growth by funding infrastructure projects, education, and other public goods. 2. Disadvantages. High levels of debt can lead to increased borrowing costs and limit a government's ability to respond to economic crises. Effective management of public debt is crucial for maintaining economic stability and investor confidence. Perfect competition, monopoly and oligopoly. Perfect competition. A market structure where many firms offer identical products, and no single firm can influence the market price. Monopoly. A market structure where one firm dominates the market. This firm can influence prices and output. Oligopoly. A market structure where a few large firms control the market. Economies of scale and opportunity cost. Economies of scale occur when increased production leads to lower costs per unit. As a company grows and produces more, it can spread its fixed costs over a larger number of units, reducing the cost per unit. This can provide a competitive advantage by allowing the company to lower prices or increase profits. Opportunity cost. The potential gain lost when choosing one alternative over another. For example, if you spend $1,000 on a vacation instead of investing it, the opportunity cost is the potential return you could have earned from that investment. Economic cycles. Economic cycles. The natural fluctuations of the economy between periods of expansion, growth, and contraction, recession. Tariffs, subsidies and free market. Tariffs. Taxes imposed on imported goods and services. They are used to protect domestic industries from foreign competition, generate revenue, and sometimes as a political tool. Subsidies. Financial support provided by the government to businesses, industries, or individuals. They can help lower the cost of production, encourage investment, and support sectors deemed important for national interest. While subsidies can stimulate economic activity, they can also distort markets and lead to inefficiencies. Free market. An economic system where prices for goods and services are determined by open competition between privately owned businesses, with minimal government intervention. These explanations should provide a more comprehensive understanding of each financial concept. Understanding these terms will help you make better financial decisions and navigate the economic landscape more effectively.